Hello, puppies. It's been a little bit since we've last talked to each other, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time one on one with you today. And if I may break character for a little bit, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that have sort of happened to me in my life. That way, it can help me get past it, and so that we can spin it into a positive outlook for you as well. Maybe you're going through something in life that you're struggling to overcome. And hopefully, with me sharing some of my issues and, sharing how I'm working to overcome them, you can do the same. So if you're interested, bundle up, sit tight, and let's ramble for just a little bit together. Okay? To kind of set the scene here, as some of you may know, I have tried to maintain a pretty consistent upload schedule of one video a week on this channel. Sometimes I miss them, but for the most part, I'd like to think I've done a pretty decent job at maintaining that. But last week, life decided to throw me a bit of a curveball. Certainly something I wasn't expecting to happen ever, but, life is full of surprises, as they say. Last Saturday around noon, I was involved in an accident, and while no one but me was hurt, I came out from that incident a bit worse for the wear. And while I don't want to get into the details of what happened with me was that the accident basically fractured and destroyed my two front teeth. And while I haven't done a face reveal here, and I have no plans on doing that anytime soon, know that, an incident like that, losing something like that, your two literal front teeth on the top, it affects you. And, I knew something was wrong the moment it happened. And after I sort of got through the initial shock, I was hopeful that I would be okay. And for the most part, I am. But that Wednesday, I went to go visit the orthodontist. And they basically gave me the bad news that the incident had basically fractured both of my teeth, the two most front ones, basically at the root. And there would be nothing they could do. There's nothing they could do to save my teeth. And, I recently, my birthday was back in August, and, it was a interesting birthday, to put it lightly. But, I bought myself some new things to help take care of my teeth because, I've finally grown confident with doing some home care with whitening and, really honing in on hygiene. And, I was happy with my smile. Let's put it like that. If any of you cute flufferbutts ever met me IRL, I tend to have a very stoic face. And beneath my flirty persona that I exude here, I tend to be very quiet. But, growing up, I had my own issues with self-image and, things like that I was able to correct later on in life. And, dealing with things when it comes to your own self-image, there are so many things that can affect us, whether it's, acne, hair loss, our body weight, our physique, many things. And fortunately, for a lot of those things, we can remedy them. If you have struggles with weight, you can fix that. If you have acne, you can fix that. Even hair loss, you can fix it. Whether through medicinal or natural means, it can be done. Losing your teeth, you can't really fix that. At least not naturally. And for the past week, I had been coming to terms with the fact that, after getting the surgery and having the teeth removed and the root canals done, it certainly was a change, for lack of better words, that I wasn't expecting I'd have to deal with. Not this early in my life. And sort of seeing myself in the mirror without my teeth after the surgery, well, I won't lie about it. It was one of my worst nightmares. Growing up, and even into my teens and my 20s, early 20s especially, I always had a fear of losing my teeth. I used to have nightmares of getting my teeth bashed in and, losing them. And lo and behold, I guess it finally happened. Maybe it was deja vu or something, but it's taken me a lot. It's taken a lot out of me these last couple days. And one of the things that I like about myself was that even despite any other shortcomings I might have, whether it's a physical thing or an intellectual thing or whatever, a lot of people have always told me that I had a voice that was very suited for radio. And in some of my earlier videos, you'll notice that I had a special thanks for someone named Oberon, who is and remains a good friend of mine who has helped fund this entire operation and encouraged me to pursue ASMR because of my voice. And so one of the things that sort of devastated me the day after I had my teeth extracted was I couldn't talk the way I used to. Even now, I struggle to talk. I mean, you might hear it with my S's, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just too hypercritical of myself. I don't know. But, I had tried to record a video after the surgery, after the swelling went down, because I really wanted to keep doing this because this has been such a great creative outlet, and seeing your guys' comments really helps. It really makes me feel like I do something good to help people. And hearing myself talk for those first few days it didn't sound like me. I've grown accustomed to my voice for a long time because even before I did this, I had done YouTube before and it was a job for a while. And hearing myself talk, without your two front teeth, it really does change the way you talk, the way your voice sounds, projects, pronunciations shift dramatically, and it was hard. Let's just put it that way. Getting up out of bed, you know, even trying to do the basics of like hygiene, like wanting to brush my teeth after getting my teeth extracted, proved to be a challenge. Some days I didn't do good. Some days I did. And there are ways to fix this. I'm currently on the path to getting implants, but it's a very costly endeavor. And this isn't going to be like a Patreon thing or anything, so don't worry about that. I can fund it. I can handle it on my own. But it was equally sort of devastating to hear from my insurance that teeth, these things we need to survive, to eat, to chew our food, to sustain ourselves, are treated as cosmetic, as an option. And, it was upsetting to hear that in my most dire time of need that I paid into this insurance, that they would only cover the procedure of removing my teeth. But if I wanted to get anything done, I would have to pay for that out of pocket because it's cosmetic. It was not a good experience. Let's just put it that way. Losing my teeth not that long after my birthday, and right as my favorite holiday season starts to roll up. Maybe it's my emotions, but words don't describe it. It's a lot. My own image of myself is shifted. My voice is different, and it's taken some getting used to. But on the positive side is that I am getting implants. They'll look real. They'll be a permanent thing for the next several decades of my life. But just the process of getting them too is going to take time. And I learned that it's not a quick process. I learned basically before they extracted my real teeth that, to get implants, it could take up to 6 months, depending on how one's body reacts to the process of getting the implants done, whether they accept, the bone grafts and all these other procedures that I'm not qualified to even attempt to try to repeat or regurgitate. And I wasn't well. Let's just put it like that. I wasn't well. And I would be lying if I said I was okay even now. Because right now, as we speak, I am wearing the equivalent of what is basically dentures to have two front teeth so that I can talk somewhat normally. And maybe it sounds fine to you, as my viewer, my listener. I don't know. I hope it does, because I don't want to give this up because of this. I could handle what this does to my physical appearance. I could handle what this would do to me if people were to look at me in person and notice it. But I couldn't handle it affecting my creative outlets, this being one of them. And I think above all else, that is what upset me the most. Even now I can hear it. That, something I'm passionate about, such as creating ASMR for all of you wonderful flubberbutts out there, is now being compromised because of this accident. Because at the end of the day, my physical appearance, who I am beyond the screen, makes no difference. The one thing that I possessed that makes this happen is my voice. And to lose that, to lose my ability to speak, I think above all else, that's what was upsetting me. But I also knew that I couldn't give this up. Like I said, regardless of what it does to me physically, my physical appearance, it doesn't matter. But I enjoy making ASMR. I didn't want to give that one up. I mean, considering the price of implants of almost $3,600 US per tooth, I'd considered not getting them. But hearing myself talk and, well, basically not being able to, I couldn't do it. And I didn't want to give up my creative outlets that make me happy, that, help others. Even if it's a few people, I didn't want to give that up. And so I figured it out. I've had to make some sacrifices in the past few days. Part ways with some valuables, set aside some money. But we're moving in the right direction. What happened, I won't even lie, is tragically upsetting. I don't even have the words to convey it, and I am trying my best to sort of keep it together. But I am trying to not let it beat me. And, getting the money to get the implants, to go through the procedures needed to get teeth that will look real, feel real, and will allow me to live my life just as it was before the accident. I'm grateful that It wasn't worse, of course. I'm grateful for the kindness of my dentists and the people that helped me get these dentures, I guess you'd call them that, or flippers, the fake teeth, the temporary ones. I'm grateful for them for getting it to me so quickly, but I also need to remember that I need to focus on the positives here. And as I go through the process of getting um, these veneers, the fake teeth, the permanent ones, my smile will be better. Um, I'll have perfectly aligned teeth, because my two front teeth were arguably my ugliest of my teeth, my natural teeth. They won't have chips, they won't be crooked. Not that they were super crooked before, but, you know, they'll be able to fix it. And I won't have to wear these dentures forever. Hopefully I'll get my speech back so that I don't struggle with pronouncing my S's anymore. But it's all going to come in time. And I think that's the important thing. If there's a lesson to take away from my experience and sort of apply it to anything that you might go through, it's that if you give yourself the time and the patience and you're willing to fight for yourself, you will be okay. It's not always easy. It's not always straightforward either. And I'll be blatantly honest with you. It can be terrifying. But you can do it. And I can do it too. We all have it in us to overcome adversities, even if it doesn't feel like we can do it. We all can. Me, you, anyone. Our struggles will differ from person to person, from flubberbutt to flubberbutt, but at the end of the day, we're all fighting for ourselves here. And I just wanted to share with you all what I'm dealing with, because I believe that talking about these things and feeling them, not hiding from them, not running away from them, it does help. It does help. And now you'll know. If in any of my future videos I sound a bit off or my S's don't, I speak with a sort of a lisp. Now you'll know why. But like I said, it's temporary. Everything is temporary. And this bad thing won't be around forever, just as no bad thing sticks around forever. Just like the seasons, everything comes and goes. It all will eventually pass. And I'm waiting for this to sort of pass through and move along so that I can talk normally again, so that I can get through a recording of an ASMR video without constantly second guessing whether or not I sound okay, or, you know, my flipper comes out of alignment and then my speech gets slurred. Um, but we'll get there. And if you're struggling with something, know that it is just temporary, that it will not last. And if you are patient with yourself and you give yourself the time, the patience, and the persistence you need to work your way through it, you will come out better than you were before. You might have a few extra scars, a few bruises, but they all sort of tell a story. And you will have a story to tell eventually, and it will be a story of triumph, just as mine will be. And it's okay to stop and take a break every now and again to feel it, whether it's to cry it out or just deal with it. But it is very important, and I need you to promise me this, that you will not give up on yourself. I have wanted to give up on myself several times already throughout this ordeal. The feeling is there. The thoughts are there. I won't lie. But it is important not to. Because I know that I deserve to keep fighting for myself. And you deserve the same. You deserve to keep fighting for yourself, to believe in yourself, and to want better for yourself. And whatever that turns into, that's for you to decide.